How's it, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Burton Builds. Today I'm here with one of my good mates in the machine shop. Now he's going to give me the 101 on machining some parts on the lathe. So a little bit nervous. It's been not too long. I left school 17 years ago, so that must be what, 21 years? Old. 21 years since I've turned something on the lathe. And I just hope it's going to go well. Plan for today is, whoa, she's really coming apart. Taking this thing. It's a prop, little RCE prop. It's not that little. I don't know. It's that many inches, 18 by 8, I think it is. And we're going to put that. We're going to put it onto that thing. So bought this fan a couple of days ago, and it's bloody noisy. You know, it makes too much noise when I watch TV. So I thought this might be a better option. These things are not designed to be quiet, but they are pretty well balanced and a lot more efficient than a pressed steel blade. So hoping that's going to work out nicely. Plan is to basically just turn a little you know, piece of metal, make this fit on that. So let's get going. The plan is to make this little hub adapter type effort here, where the fan's shaft goes on this side and the propeller goes on from that side. Looks like this is a carbide tip.
Yeah. So
plan is to take this piece of stock here. We're going to face it off nice and flat, and then center drill it. Yeah. And then we're actually going to stick it in the chuck. Well, it'll already be in the chuck. And we're going to support it from both ends, and then we're going to turn it down to get it nice and round. Something important when you're using a lathe: don't be a dumbass. Never forget the key in the chuck. So,
golden rule number 1.
that's exactly what it is. Yeah. So easy way to do that is to not forget it is just don't forget it. But otherwise, tighten your piece and keep your hand on the key at all times, and then take it out. The length of our full piece is going to be about 85 millimeters. So I've left 90 mils here. We've got 5 mil gap between the chuck or the jaws here and where our cutting tip is going to run. So should all be good. So far our tool is a little bit high, so we need to lower the entire thing so that it's at least on center of our piece of stock or slightly below. So just looking for the tool. What's missing? If you take it there, it's just not touching.
Yeah, that's fine.
Do it again. So what we've ended up doing is we center drilled our piece of stock here. We just used this keyless chuck. And then the next thing we're going to do is run it between centers. So here's our center. So this is called a running center, and of course this is a very big running center. It's our chuck. So our workpiece now is going to be running between centers. So it's nice and stable on both sides. Okay, so the cut we're getting is a little bit rough now at the moment. So what we're going to do is we're going to rotate our carbide tip. This one is quite old, it's been used a lot. So just going to rotate that quick and hopefully get a nice smooth surface. Oh, more beautiful.
Check with the vernier on the side.
got to a point where we've turned the smallest part of the shaft down to roughly 8 mils. I think it's about 8.3. That should be the size of the prop. I think we maybe need to go down another 0.1, 0.2 of a mil. That should be enough. We are at the point now where the propeller almost fits on. What we're going to do is we're going to take a little bit of emery paper and then just run it up and down the shaft a little bit, and that might take off just enough to get our shaft to, or get our prop to actually slide onto the shaft easily. It might look a bit silly, but what we're trying to do is we're actually trying to put this the spinner on. It's just it kind of finishes off the prop nicely, and the end of the spinner, or the backing plate, has got a little it's got a little brass insert, and that brass insert, I think we've made the fit just too tight. It's like a perfect fit, which yeah, not the best, but well, we're gonna have to just tap it on. So what we're going to do is we're going to use that backing plate as a bit of a press for this little lip, and we're going to use a piece of stock, and we're just going to press it on. A little bit of oil in there maybe.
What are you doing? Fucking Rambo.
Just push it, man.
Yeah,
just force yourself.
Yeah.
Just force yourself. That's what she says all the time. Oh yeah, I like that.
That's the dumbest thing I've seen.
It was cardboard and copper wire, bro.
How did that thing not fall off when you...
It's got a center nut. Yeah. What we're going to be doing now is parting this piece of steel off. This is going to be the adapter section. We've got a parting tool in the lathe, or in the tool holder, and I'm just explaining this before we actually get going, because we're going to use a cutting fluid. On all the other cuts we also should have been using a cutting fluid, but I wanted you to actually see where the machining was being done. Not that you could really actually see the tip of the tool, but you've got a rough idea. So for this one we are going to use a cutting fluid, and what we're going to do is we're going to machine into the steel, not the exact sort of distance that we need. We're adding about 1 millimeter, and also because this diameter is so wide, or so big, we're going to part partly into the material, and then we're going to retract the tool and then move it over into the waste material just a smidge, and then we're going to part in to create a bigger gap. And then once we've got a slightly bigger gap over here, then we'll be able to go all the way through. So what we're going to do now is face this face off. That's the bit of our adapter now is inside the chuck. So we've got to face this off nice and flat to 35 millimeters, and then we're going to drill a 10 millimeter hole about 30 millimeters deep into it, and then that's actually the adapter finished. So almost there. The grub screw. Oh yeah, I didn't talk about the grub screw. Yes, one more thing. Once we finished drilling our 10 mil hole, we've actually got to drill it's probably around about a 5.2 or 5.3 millimeter hole, and then we're going to tap a 6 millimeter thread into the steel, and that's going to be, or that's going to act as a little guide for our grub screw, and the grub screw will fasten the adapter onto the shaft of the motor. So looking forward to that, getting there. Back at home now, out of the noisy shop, and we managed to finish our piece last night. It's yeah, turned out pretty well, I would say. Still got to put a little bit of paint on it, but we'll get to that shortly. Otherwise, just drilled out the 10 mil hole, that's to go on the 10 mil shaft here, and put a little grub screw in, drill the hole, tap the thread, and just a small grub screw, and that's going to go onto kind of the flat section of the shaft, of the motor shaft. So what we've come up with is putting the backing plate on, and the prop, in normal circumstances, when you use this prop on an RC airplane, the prop will go on that way, so it spins and then it kind of blows air backwards, but we want it to blow air forwards. So we're just going to turn it around and slide it on, and then use a washer and then a little nut. That's just to tighten it onto our adapter. I think we can just give it a little nip. So that's about it for today. Still got to throw some paint on. Hold the bus. You might be wondering, where is the rest of the installation? What about testing? Well, the thing is, when the memory card is full, the recording stops, and since I'm almost too poor to pay attention, I didn't even notice that, so I guess we left with what we got. So that's about it for today. Still got to throw some paint onto the adapter, but going to use the fan. It's pretty hot, so just want to use it for a while, and we'll see you next time. Cheers, guys.